Hello, folks. Welcome back to Reality Check with Arvind Swaminathan. Sorry for the delay, but we were under lockdown. And you know what that means. Nothing moves. We can't go out, we can't do anything. It's been quite a thing. I hope you've come through without any problems or not too many problems. If you did get it, COVID-19, I hope you recovered. So please take care of yourselves. Today we're going to discuss how to keep something like COVID-19 away. Not just COVID-19 but everything else too. And to stay safe, stay healthy. Please, whatever else you do, observe COVID-19 protocol. Wear masks, ensure social distancing, and please wash your hands regularly. If you go out and come back, wash your hands. Before you go out, wash your hands. This is something you must do. Otherwise, everything else will go out through the window. Now, first things, most people get frightened when they hear the word pathogen. Why? I don't know. All that pathogen means is something which can cause disease, or it makes you ill at ease. Everything that causes diseases being pathogens, including corona or COVID-19, this is also a pathogen. Same as the one which causes things like typhoid, cholera, tetanus, anything else. They're all pathogens. But most of them we managed to find an antidote to. So it's not something to be afraid of. All it means is this is an organism which can cause disease. Now, how lethal, how small a problem it creates, that depends on the other things which you do. Now, folks, do remember, COVID-19 is something which attacks the lungs, and through the lungs it goes into the rest of our body. So looking after those lungs of ours is of prime importance. You must look after them. There are so many things we don't even think about. Why? Well, simply because we don't. For instance, how do we breathe? Do we think about it? No. We've been doing it ever since the moment we were born. We think, well, everybody knows about it. No. Let me ask you a simple question. How many stages are there in breathing or respiration? Most of you will say there are 2. But what would you say if I said not 2, there are 3? Most people would say inhale, exhale, 2. But there is a third phase. What is that? Inhale, exhale. Then there is a slight pause. Now we don't think about that, do we? And yet it's there. Without that pause, we'd be breathing like this. Now we don't breathe like this, do we? So please remember that pause, without which we'll all look a little silly. Okay? Now if you look around you, you'll find most people breathe using just the chest. Now this means that you're only using about 25-30% of your lung capacity. The amount of air you're taking in is relatively only a small amount. It is because of this reason doctors will tell you that a normal pulse rate is about 70, 72, 75. Yes, it will be if you use just your chest, which means your heart is working overtime. Why? Because it has to pump that blood all over your body to send that oxygen to your tissues and to bring back carbon dioxide for removal. I think I've mentioned this in one of my other videos. Think about it. If you haven't seen it, please have a look at it. Okay? Now, when I was hospitalized the first time, I saw the nurse was looking a little worried, and I asked her, what's the matter? Is the pulse rate rather on the low side? She said, yes. So I told her, is it around 42, 44? She said, yes. And I said, that's okay, that's normal for me. Now you think, what is your pulse rate when you get up in the morning? Usually around 60, 65. And mine, if I've had a good night's sleep, about 42 to 45. A reasonable, not so good night's sleep will be 45 to 48 or 50. A not very good night would be 48 to about 55, 56. Why does this happen? Because I don't breathe from my chest. I breathe from my diaphragm region. Now, if you breathe from this region, your diaphragm region, you're using about 80 to 90% of your lung capacity. You're taking in 2 or 3 times more air. The blood then takes all this extra amount of oxygen from the air and pushes it all over your body, my body. And because it takes in so much more each time, it doesn't have to work quite so hard. That is why my pulse rate is so much lower than most other people. Now, why did I start this? Well, there was a yoga expert who came to school one day walking on fire. He had a superb physique. We were all very impressed. Some of the senior students were asking him, well, how do you improve stamina and this and that? And he said, look, most of you I can see are breathing using your chest. I breathe from here. And it's not very difficult to do. All you have to do is practice. Use your diaphragm to breathe like this. Keep doing that for a day or two, it becomes habit. And once it becomes a habit, you don't even have to think about it. You will breathe from here all the time. If you do that, you're doing yourself a favor, because you're not overworking your heart, therefore your pulse rate is down, you're much more relaxed, you don't get tired quite so quickly. These are all the side effects of breathing from your diaphragm region. Because when you breathe from your diaphragm region, you are also breathing from your chest region. Both, the whole lung is being used, instead of just the top 1/3 or quarter. Now, with all this air inside our lungs, what is it that carries it to different parts of our bodies? The answer is the blood. How does it do that? Not all of your blood does it, it's only a certain part of it. Now, what is it when you get a blood test done? The first thing you look at is WBC, RBC, HB. WBC is white blood corpuscle, RBC is red blood corpuscle, HB is hemoglobin. And it is this hemoglobin which picks up the oxygen, carries it to our tissues, picks up and releases this oxygen, picks up the carbon dioxide produced in those tissues, brings it back eventually to the lungs. And this is all done by the heart pumping all the time. It's your heartbeat which is pumping blood all over your body. Now remember also, basic point to remember is, all the blood going away from the heart is through arteries, and it's full of oxygen usually. All the blood coming back to your heart is through veins, which are usually much nearer the skin, except in one case. The pulmonary artery carries blood rich in carbon dioxide to your lungs for release. The other way, the pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood to the heart, which then pumps it all over our bodies. Now, for this hemoglobin, please remember, they say a count of 14 to 18 for men folk is normal. For ladies, it's probably 12 to 16. But don't ever let it get below 10, because if you do, you're beginning to be anemic. You get tired quickly. Your heart is pumping much faster to get that oxygen to your tissues. But if you don't have the hemoglobin, which is obviously scarce in your blood if it's below 10, how does it carry oxygen around into your body and bring back carbon dioxide for removal? That is why your heart beats a lot faster. Your normal pulse rate is much higher. It's working much harder, and it doesn't need to. So be careful about that. This is one of the precautions you can take. One, you breathe from your diaphragm region, not your chest. Second, make sure that your hemoglobin is at a required level, at a high enough level, and don't ever let yourself get anemic. Please pay attention to that. This is very important. The third thing is, if you can, please don't smoke. Why? You will be forming a nicotine layer or tar layer all over your lung tissue, which makes it impervious to oxygen and carbon dioxide. Blood going through there cannot take in oxygen. It may not be able to release carbon dioxide. So in effect, you are infecting yourself by not allowing that oxygen to circulate and not being able to remove carbon dioxide quickly. Now I say this for a reason, because you remember the pathogen? 95 to 99% of those pathogens are anaerobic. What does that mean? To them, oxygen is poison. And when there's a lot of carbon dioxide in any pocket, they say, hey gang, come on over, party time. They love an atmosphere free of oxygen because they cannot survive in oxygen. Now see what nature has done. We need oxygen, they can't stand it. So we already have one thing in our favor. Fill ourselves with oxygen and we keep disease at bay. Next point, do not let yourself get dehydrated. You must drink plenty of water. Why? Every activity which your body undertakes, including if you just move this hand from here to here, that's an activity. My talking to you, that's an activity. All these require oxygen. You have to be able to do that. It also requires energy. Once the activity is over, it produces byproducts. One of those would be lactic acid, also carbon dioxide. Again, that has to be removed. If it is not removed and replaced with oxygen, you have problems. Why do I say you need lots of water? Because all these byproducts have to be removed. And the only way you can remove them, there are only two ways you can do that: perspiration or sweat, the other is urine. Both of them require large quantities of water. Added to that, these byproducts are very, very sparingly soluble. You need a large amount to dissolve just a small amount. So you need large amounts of water to remove this. If you don't remove it, they start accumulating in odd spots and odd places. To begin with, when you're young, it doesn't matter so much. The concentration is not very heavy or high. As time goes on and these go on being sort of stored up in places, then their toxic effects begin to be felt. You can get things like high blood pressure, diabetes, and all these other things simply because these things start their actions. Once the toxic action begins to be felt, it starts off a chain reaction. Because let's not forget, a human body is like a factory. One thing goes wrong, everything else stops or jams up, or the amount of activity it can undertake comes down sharply. You get diseases, you get sick. So you must drink plenty of water. And I say water, not soft drinks, for a very good reason. I'll explain that in a minute. Had it not been for this lockdown, this would have come down about a month ago. But in between, something happened. There was an advert. Cristiano Ronaldo took away 2 bottles of soft drink, put a bottle of water there and said agua, meaning water. And it was the right choice, believe me. Why? Remember, he's an athlete. In 90 minutes in the course of a football game, he will probably run anything between 10 and 14 miles. Miles are not kilometers. 10 miles is 16 kilometers. Now you think how much running he has to do all inside 90 minutes. And it's not all just jogging up and down. There are short bursts of sprints, jog, walk, sprint, jog, walk. Now that sprint takes so much energy and it takes so much effort that the amount of byproducts inside him are huge. And you can see a lot of them, they end up with cramp. Why? They've lost salt, they've lost fluid, they're running very short of fluid. That's why they keep drinking water in between. Now, in a minute, I will show you what happens if you reach for that soft drink. Now, why did I say water? I didn't say anything about soft drinks, because all these drinks full of fizz is actually full of carbon dioxide, which is something you don't want wandering around your system. Why? You take in a glass of soft drink, you burp a little, 10 to 15% of that carbon dioxide comes out. The rest stayed dissolved in that liquid and it goes to every part of your body. And then your blood has to get busy and literally drag it out of your system, send it to the lungs for removal, and replace those tissues, oxygen in those tissues from where it's just pulled it out. Now, why are we doing this? Which comes back to this thing, lifestyle problems. We're creating these problems for ourselves, and we're paying a huge price, not just in terms of money to buy these soft drinks, and take in this carbon dioxide which we don't really need. And we're making our bodies work much harder just to remove it. But if we get sick, then we really have to pay a huge tax in the way of hospitalization, then your medicine, your consultancy fees, your nursing fees, hospital bed, and the medicines, which modern medicines are getting more and more expensive every day. So what are you working for? What are you doing with all this? Earning just to give it away. You're not having any fun getting sick. Now, during this football match we were talking about, would you believe that the referee runs further or covers more distance than any of the other players? If Cristiano Ronaldo covers about 10, 12, 13 miles, the referee covers 13 to 15 miles. Now you think of how much carbon dioxide he must be producing and how much oxygen he needs. Just think, if you or I just run 50 yards, we go, we start panting. Why? We have built up an oxygen debt. A lot of carbon dioxide is produced, we have to put that back. And we're taking in more oxygen than normal just to bring those tissues back to equilibrium. Another thing you can do to help not just yourself but your whole community, plant trees. Preferably trees with big leaves, and preferably trees which shed their leaves in winter. Grow them during the spring so that they last throughout the summer and into early to mid-autumn. Why? In the presence of sunlight. And this is when maximum sunlight is there, during the spring, summer and autumn. What happens is the leaves take in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, use it for photosynthesis, use it for their growth, and push out a waste product, oxygen. However, the moment the sun goes out or the sun sets, the process is reversed. They now take in oxygen and push out carbon dioxide. This is why they say On a still night, do not sleep in the shade of a tree. You might wake up choking, because carbon dioxide, being heavier than air, drops down. And the reason we don't want leaves on those trees during the winter is because days are very short, sunlight hours are few, and those leaves will be taking in carbon dioxide and pushing out, and they will be taking in oxygen and pushing out carbon dioxide. Added to that, most of these trees which shed their leaves in winter are usually hardwood trees, which give good timber. It may take 20 to 50 years to produce that timber, but during that time they produce a lot of oxygen for us. They also give us a great deal of shade in winter and help bring back rainfall, which has a very, very much more cooling effect, especially during our very hot summers. Now please note, this is one of your normal soft drinks. All the gas that's coming out is carbon dioxide, which will be going inside you. Now see what happens if you put in a pinch of salt. All that is carbon dioxide, and it's all dissolved in there, which goes inside you. And this is hardly 120, 130 milliliters. And I don't think it's finished yet. You shake it up a little and see what happens. Now think what a 750 ml or a 1 liter bottle of this will contain. All that carbon dioxide is going inside you, and you're having to work very hard, or your heart is having to work very hard just to take it out of your system. And while it's in you, it's a risk. You could get any disease that happens to be there. These are the things which we don't think about, but we should think about. And once it becomes part of our lifestyle, our mental thing, we don't need to think about it after that. Like breathing. You learn to breathe right, everything's okay. Once you've started getting that, you don't need to think about it, you do it anyway. Now these are small things, but if we get it all together, or get our act together, what does it do? It keeps us healthier, stronger to be able to fight any of these diseases in a much better way. We may not be able to keep it away completely, but what we can do is, say, at a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very severe infection, 1 being a very mild infection. Instead of a 7, 8, 9 degree of infection, we might be able to halt it at a 2, 3, 4 degree of infection. Now these are basic things, we don't think about so far. I wish we would, and I wish all of you would, because it would help us all a great way, in a very, very necessary way. How to keep disease under control. Instead of it ruling us, we can at least keep it down and not let it get as virulent as it might. Because as we can see, even your COVID-19, with the older people or weaker people, it's lethal. Stronger people who can withstand it, they do recover and carry on again. It is our own responsibility to give ourselves that chance. Even if it attacks, get rid of it, come back stronger. Well, folks, time to say ciao. I hope we've been able to help in some way, make you think a little. If you like, please subscribe, press the like button, pass it on to your friends, relatives, your groups, ask them to pass it on. Because these are simple things which we can all do. if we think about it and take some positive action in this direction. All the best, stay safe, and don't forget, please do observe COVID-19 protocol. Bye.